On August 29, 2025, at the SM Mall of Asia Arena in Pasay City, Manila, the Men's Volleyball World Championship began with thrilling opening matches. Among them, the clash between the United States and Colombia drew considerable attention, not only because the United States is one of the leading contenders for the title, but also because it was a rare opportunity for fans to see a South American team like Colombia compete on the sport's biggest stage. For the United States, this opening match carried the weight of establishing authority and laying the foundation for a championship run. The American lineup was led by the experienced setter Micah Christensen, supported by attacking talents such as Ethan Champlin, Gabriel Garcia, and Jordan Ewart. They entered the tournament as one of the strongest teams in the world, with both expectations and pressure to perform at the highest level. For Colombia, the meaning was different. This match represented a historic chance to measure themselves against one of the sport's powerhouses. Although considered the underdog by a wide margin, their very presence in the World Championship Finals was already a milestone achievement. They arrived in Manila determined to play with pride, spirit, and the desire to prove themselves. Before the match, American media predicted that it would serve as a warm-up for the United States. On USA Volleyball, head coach Karch Kiraly emphasized his wish to see a blend of experience and youth, pointing out that 4 players in the starting lineup had never played a single point at either the World Championship or the Olympic Games. On the Colombian side, the message was one of freedom and resilience. They had nothing to lose and everything to gain. The atmosphere inside the Mall of Asia Arena was electric. Thousands of Filipino fans, whose passion for volleyball is well known, created a vibrant stage. The sight of American flags waving in one section and the spirited support of Colombian fans in another produced a striking contrast between a championship contender and a newcomer. When the referee's whistle sounded to start the match, the United States faced not only the task of winning, but also the challenge of demonstrating to the world that they possessed the strength and balance to go deep in the tournament. At the same time, Colombia stepped onto the court determined to make history, regardless of the final score. From that moment, the crowd witnessed a performance that affirmed the authority of the United States, while also honoring the courage and determination of Colombia, a team stepping into the global spotlight for the very first time. The United States entered the 2025 Men's World Championship with both tradition and ambition. Over the past decades, the American men's team has consistently remained among the elite of world volleyball, with Olympic gold medals, multiple podium finishes in the Nations League, and an enduring reputation for producing some of the sport's greatest players. In the years leading up to the championship, the United States had maintained its standing as a top-tier team, but expectations were rising. Analysts emphasize that this generation of players combined the steady leadership of veterans with the energy of rising talents. The roster in Manila reflected this balance. Setter Micah Christensen, one of the most respected playmakers in the game, brought experience and calm control. Around him, the attack was powered by Ethan Champlin, Gabriel Garcia, and Jordan Ewart, players capable of delivering both explosive offense and versatility. Head coach Karch Kiraly, himself a volleyball legend, stressed the importance of blending these elements. In his pre-tournament remarks, he noted that in the starting lineup alone, 4 players had never before played a single point at the World Championship or the Olympic Games. This mix of youth and experience was designed not only to win matches, but also to build momentum for the later stages of the tournament. For the United States, the opening match against Colombia was more than a chance to collect 3 points. It was a test of chemistry, discipline, and the ability to set a tone for the journey ahead. Colombia, a new face on the world stage. For Colombia, the 2025 championship marked a landmark moment. Men's volleyball in Colombia has long lived in the shadow of the women's game, which has historically enjoyed more visibility. The men's team had rarely been present on the world's biggest stages, and qualifying for the finals in Manila was already a remarkable accomplishment. Arriving as underdogs, Colombia brought a squad built around spirit, unity, and determination. While they lacked the depth and international experience of their opponents, they carried the pride of representing their country at the highest level. For many of the players, simply competing against a powerhouse like the United States was a dream come true. Analysts and fans recognized that Colombia's journey to the World Championship finals symbolized progress in South American volleyball beyond the traditional giants of Brazil and Argentina. The challenge for Colombia was clear: to use this experience as a platform for growth while fighting for every point on the court. Head-to-head context. Historically, the United States and Colombia had rarely crossed paths in major international competitions. The disparity in volleyball pedigree between the two nations meant that most observers expected a straightforward outcome. However, the beauty of the World Championship lies in the chance for unexpected narratives. For Colombia, playing against the United States represented both a daunting task and an invaluable learning opportunity. For the United States, it was an obligation to avoid complacency and to respect the stage by performing at their best. The pre-match atmosphere. The build-up to the match carried a sense of anticipation. For the United States, the expectation was simple: a dominant performance. For Colombia, the goal was to compete fiercely and to demonstrate resilience. International media, including Volleyball World, framed the encounter as a classic battle between a global contender and a newcomer eager to earn respect. Inside the Mall of Asia arena, the Filipino fans elevated the moment. Known for their enthusiasm for volleyball, they cheered loudly for both teams, embracing the underdog story of Colombia while also admiring the established power of the United States. The colorful presence of fans created an atmosphere that was both festive and intense, a fitting stage for a match that carried significance beyond the score. By the time the teams lined up on the court, the narratives were clear. The United States was stepping forward to prove its credentials, while Colombia was stepping onto the world stage to show its courage. This contrast set the stage for an encounter that would reveal both the strengths of the Americans and the character of the Colombians. The match between the United States and Colombia at the 2025 Men's World Championship unfolded as an opening statement of power from the Americans and as a baptism of fire for the Colombians. It ended with the United States claiming a clear 3-0 victory, with set scores of 25-20, 25-21, and 25-14. Set 1. Establishing control. The first set began with Colombia showing determination and energy, eager to prove that they belonged at the championship level. Their serves were aggressive, and their defense initially managed to contain some of the American attacks. However, it quickly became clear that the United States possessed greater balance and firepower. Setter Micah Christensen orchestrated the offense with precision. His choices allowed hitters Ethan Champlin and Jordan Ewart to score efficiently from the wings. Gabriel Garcia also began to assert himself with powerful strikes that kept Colombia on the back foot. While Colombia fought hard, their errors accumulated. The United States maintained a steady advantage throughout the set, closing it 25-20. Set 2, a tighter contest. The second set was Colombia's best stretch of play. They improved their serve reception and began to generate offense through their outside hitters. At moments, the Colombians matched the Americans point for point, bringing excitement to the crowd inside the SM Mall of Asia arena. Yet every time Colombia threatened to seize momentum, the Americans responded. Ethan Champlin demonstrated why he would end the match as the leading scorer. He mixed powerful spikes with smart shot selection, exploiting gaps in the Colombian defense. Gabriel Garcia added pressure with his serving, recording 4 aces over the course of the match. The score remained close until the final phase, when experience made the difference. Christensen delivered sets that allowed Ethan Champlin and Ewart to score in clutch moments. The United States edged ahead and secured the set 25-21. Set 3. Dominance confirmed. The third set showcased the full strength of the American side. Colombia, having expended much energy in the previous frame, struggled to keep pace. Errors crept back into their game, particularly in attack, where they found it difficult to penetrate the American block. Champlin continued to shine, while Garcia and Ewert maintained relentless pressure from the service line and the attack. The American defense, anchored by solid backcourt coverage, neutralized Colombia's offensive attempts. By the midpoint of the set, the United States had established a commanding lead, and from that point, the result was inevitable. They closed the match emphatically with a 25-14 set win. Tactical observations. The statistics from the match confirmed the impression from the court. The United States outperformed Colombia in every key category: 40 kills to 31, 6 blocks to 4, and 8 service aces to 3. They also committed fewer errors, 17, compared to Colombia's 21, which underlined their discipline and efficiency. The American offense was marked by balance. Ethan Champlin led with 17 points, including 12 kills, 3 aces, and 2 blocks. Gabriel Garcia followed with 12 points, while Jordan Ewert added 11. This distribution of scoring meant that Colombia could not focus on shutting down a single attacker. Micah Christensen's setting was another decisive factor. With his leadership, the United States achieved an overall hitting efficiency of over 40%, reflecting the clarity of their offensive system. His ability to blend the contributions of both young and experienced players highlighted why he is regarded as one of the world's premier setters. For Colombia, the main issues were inconsistency and inexperience. While they showed flashes of promise, particularly in the second set, they could not sustain pressure long enough to challenge the Americans seriously. Their serve reception faltered under the weight of aggressive American serving, and their offensive execution was too error-prone. Emotional resonance. Despite the disparity in quality, the atmosphere inside the arena remained electric. Fans appreciated Colombia's spirit, cheering loudly whenever they managed to score against their formidable opponents. At the same time, the precision and power of the American side drew admiration and anticipation for what they might accomplish later in the tournament. The third set in particular demonstrated the gulf in class, but it also highlighted the contrasting stages of development. For the United States, this was the performance of a team fine-tuning itself for a championship run. For Colombia, it was a learning experience that, despite ending in defeat, will contribute to their growth on the international stage.
Every volleyball match is decided by a mixture of errors from the losing side and excellence from the winning team. The encounter between the United States and Colombia at the 2025 Men's World Championship followed this pattern. While the United States displayed balance, discipline, and execution, Colombia's shortcomings magnified the gap. 5 main elements stood out as decisive in shaping the result. Mistake 1. Serve reception under constant pressure. Colombia's first and most damaging weakness was their inability to handle the American serve. Throughout the match, the United States recorded 8 service aces, compared to only 3 for Colombia. Gabriel Garcia was particularly destructive, delivering 4 aces that directly destabilized Colombia's passing unit. The poor reception meant that Colombian setters often had to chase the ball or deliver predictable sets, which allowed the American block to organize quickly. Mistake 2. High error count in attack. Colombia's offense showed flashes of creativity, but was ultimately undone by unforced errors. They finished the match with 21 total errors, 4 more than the United States. Many of these mistakes came at critical moments, especially in the second set, when Colombia had a chance to push the Americans to the limit. Instead of capitalizing on opportunities, they gave away points through miscued strikes and net violations. Mistake 3. Limited contribution from the middle attack. The Colombian middle blockers were largely absent as scoring threats. Without consistent serve reception, Colombia could not run their quick plays through the center of the net. As a result, the offense became heavily reliant on outside hitters, which made it predictable. The American defense, already solid, had little difficulty adjusting to this narrowed attack. Mistake 4. Lack of tactical adjustment. Colombia failed to adapt strategically as the match unfolded. The United States consistently pressured their receivers, yet the Colombian coaching staff made few adjustments to alter the serve-receive formation or to rotate responsibilities. On the contrary, the Americans showed flexibility, mixing short serves with deep serves and combining power with accuracy. The lack of Colombian response allowed the Americans to dictate the rhythm throughout the match. Mistake 5. Loss of composure in crucial stretches. Perhaps the most telling difference was mental. Colombia played with enthusiasm and energy, but faltered in crucial moments. The second set, which ended 25-21, was their best chance to steal a frame. With the score close in the final rallies, Colombia committed consecutive errors, while the United States executed calmly. This inability to handle pressure situations reflected the inexperience of a team new to the world stage. What the United States executed exceptionally well. While Colombia's mistakes played a role, the United States deserves full credit for a performance that highlighted their strengths. First, their serving strategy was decisive. By targeting weak passers and maintaining aggressive but controlled serves, they placed Colombia under constant stress. Second, their offensive balance was outstanding. Ethan Champlin led with 17 points, but he was well supported by Gabriel Garcia with 12 and Jordan Ewart with 11. This distribution meant Colombia could not concentrate their block on any single attacker. The American defense, already solid, had little difficulty adjusting to this narrowed attack. Third, Micah Christensen's setting elevated the entire system. His ability to deliver accurate sets under varying conditions ensured that hitters could attack with confidence. The overall team hitting efficiency of over 40% reflected his influence and the team's cohesion. Finally, the Americans displayed discipline and composure. They limited their own errors to 17, played clean volleyball, and executed in the decisive rallies. Their mental control contrasted sharply with Colombia's lapses, reinforcing the difference between an established contender and a newcomer. Significance of the mistakes and factors. The lessons from this match extended beyond the result. For Colombia, the mistakes underscored the challenges of competing at the highest level. Serve reception, tactical flexibility, and composure in pressure moments are not luxuries but necessities at the World Championship. Their inability to meet those demands cost them dearly, but it also highlighted areas where they must grow in order to become more competitive in the future. For the United States, the decisive factors validated their preparation and reinforced their status as title contenders. Their serving power, balanced offense, and veteran leadership provided a blueprint for success. Most importantly, the match demonstrated that they could integrate inexperienced players into a system without losing efficiency, an encouraging sign for the road ahead. In the end, the contrast between mistakes and execution defined the story of the match. Colombia's vulnerabilities opened the door, and the United States walked through it with authority. The result was not only a straight sets victory, but also a reflection of the broader realities of world-class volleyball. Excellence punishes errors, and discipline triumphs over inexperience.
The match between the United States and Colombia at the 2025 Men's World Championship was not only about collective execution, it was also about individual performances that shaped the flow of the contest. Several players stood out on both sides, demonstrating either dominance or resilience in the face of overwhelming opposition. Ethan Champlin, the breakout star. Ethan Champlin was the undisputed star of the match. He finished as the leading scorer with 17 points, consisting of 12 kills, 3 service aces, and 2 blocks. His performance combined efficiency and flair. Champlin's attacking rhythm was relentless, and he managed to find solutions even when Colombia's block was well positioned. What elevated Champlin's display was his versatility. Not only did he score with power,
but he also showed the ability to adjust his shots, using tips and controlled placements to exploit open spaces. His serving game provided a further weapon, directly contributing to points and keeping the Colombian defense under constant strain. For the United States, Champlin's emergence in this match confirmed that he was not only a supporting piece, but a potential star capable of carrying the team in high-stakes encounters. Gabriel Garcia, the serving machine. Gabriel Garcia made his mark primarily from the service line. He recorded 4 aces, adding to a total of 12 points. His jump serves consistently disrupted Colombia's passing, creating opportunities for the American bloc to dominate. Garcia also contributed with powerful kills from the outside, but it was his ability to shift momentum through serving that defined his impact. Whenever Colombia attempted to build momentum, Garcia's serve often halted their rhythm. His performance reflected the importance of pressure serving at the international level, where destabilizing the opponent's first contact can dictate the entire rally. Jordan Ewart, the reliable wing. Jordan Ewart quietly accumulated 11 points, with 10 kills and 1 block. While not as flashy as Champlin or Garcia, Ewart provided balance and reliability. His ability to score from difficult positions gave setter Micah Christensen another dependable option. In the second set, when Colombia challenged strongly, Ewart's steady contributions helped the United States keep control. Ewart's role demonstrated the value of consistency. While others produced highlight moments, his efficiency ensured that the American offense never lost its rhythm. Micah Christensen, the conductor of the orchestra. Though setters are rarely the top scorers, Micah Christensen's influence was central to the American victory. His distribution created unpredictability, allowing multiple hitters to shine. The team achieved an overall hitting efficiency of over 40%, a statistic that reflected his precision and decision-making. Christensen's leadership was equally significant. With a lineup featuring several players who had never competed at a world championship or Olympic level, his composure stabilized the team. His presence reassured the younger athletes and allowed them to perform with confidence. Colombia's bright spots, fighting against the odds. For Colombia, defeat did not mean the absence of positive contributions. Their top scorer, Miguel Ángel Amaranto, worked tirelessly to generate offense. Although statistical details of his final tally were limited in international coverage, his effort was visible as he attempted to pierce the American bloc and inspire his teammates. The Colombian libero also deserves recognition for his defensive commitment. Time and again, he dove across the court to keep rallies alive, drawing appreciation from the Filipino crowd. These moments of resistance, though not enough to change the outcome, reflected Colombia's spirit and their determination to make the most of their historic participation. Summary of individual brilliance. The star performances highlighted the contrast between an established power and an emerging team. For the United States, Champlin's 17 points, Garcia's serving power, Ewart's consistency, and Christensen's orchestration combined to produce a comprehensive display of strength. Each individual excelled within a system that functioned with precision and balance. For Colombia, the star players symbolized resilience. Though they were overwhelmed, their efforts embodied the determination of a team eager to grow on the international stage. The flashes of talent they displayed will serve as a foundation for future improvement. Ultimately, the story of this match cannot be told without acknowledging the stars who shaped it. Their brilliance not only delivered a decisive result, but also provided fans with moments of inspiration that extended beyond the scoreboard.
When the final point landed and the United States secured a straight sets victory over Colombia, the outcome reflected more than just a successful opening to the tournament. It was a performance that underlined the American status as one of the leading contenders for the 2025 Men's World Championship, while also providing Colombia with invaluable lessons as they embarked on their first major appearance at this level. For the United States, the significance was clear. They entered the championship with expectations of challenging for the title, and their dominant display confirmed that those expectations were well-founded. Ethan Champlin's breakout performance, Gabriel Garcia's serving power, Jordan Eward's steady contributions, and Micah Christensen's orchestration painted a picture of a team that was both talented and balanced. They controlled the match from start to finish, demonstrating depth, discipline, and composure. More importantly, the victory showed that the Americans could integrate younger, less experienced players without losing efficiency, an encouraging sign for the later and more difficult stages of the competition. The match also reaffirmed the philosophy emphasized by head coach Karch Kiraly, the importance of blending experience with new energy. With 4 starters who had never played a single point in a World Championship or Olympic Games, the Americans managed to combine youthful enthusiasm with the composure of seasoned leaders. This formula, if sustained, could be decisive as they face stronger opponents in the knockout rounds. For Colombia, the defeat was sobering, but also significant. As newcomers, they were not expected to win against one of the sport's giants, but the experience itself carried enormous value. They learned firsthand the level of intensity, precision, and consistency required to compete with the world's best. Their struggles in serve reception, offensive execution, and tactical adaptability highlighted areas where they must improve. Yet their presence in Manila marked progress for Colombian volleyball, symbolizing the expansion of the sport in South America beyond Brazil and Argentina. The match's symbolic value extended beyond the 2 teams. It highlighted the global nature of modern volleyball, where established powers continue to assert their dominance while new nations begin to step onto the stage. For the fans in Manila and viewers worldwide, it was a reminder of why the World Championship matters. It is not only a contest for medals, but also a showcase of diversity, resilience, and the growth of the game across continents. The American victory also carried a message to the rest of the field. With their balanced attack, disciplined defense, and strong serving, they announced themselves as serious contenders for the gold medal. Opponents will have taken note of Champlin's emergence as a scoring force and of the team's overall efficiency. For the Americans, this match was not the final destination, but the beginning of a campaign that could carry them deep into the championship. For Colombia, the legacy of this match lies in their courage. They fought with heart, celebrated every point, and won admiration from neutral fans in the arena. While the scoreboard showed a sweep, the spirit they displayed earned respect. Their journey has only begun, and the lessons of Manila may serve as the foundation for future achievements. Ultimately, the story of the United States versus Colombia was not simply about a 3-0 result. It was about affirmation and aspiration. It was about a powerhouse proving its readiness for the battles ahead, and a newcomer beginning its journey in the harsh but inspiring reality of world-class competition. This is why volleyball captivates us. It is a sport where victories build legacies, defeats create lessons, and every match contributes to the grand narrative of the game. Thank you for following this story. Remember to like, share, and subscribe to continue experiencing more highlights and in-depth commentary from the world of international volleyball.